Hello there and welcome to episode 10 of the Fasting Focused Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Vicky, as you probably well know by now. Today's episode is going to be covering body image and the societal influences and all that good, messy, mental, thought process, emotionally, hormonally driven components that come right along the journey with us when we start our weight loss efforts. That maybe we didn't think that would be a factor, but definitely bubble up at some point or another. We're going to talk about all that and more in this episode, so stay tuned. Welcome to the Fasting Focused Lifestyle Podcast, where each week I will be discussing all things fasting and how it can become the most valuable tool in your personal toolkit so that you can live a long, healthy, and meaningful life. I'm your host, Vicky Sharon, and thank you for joining me. All right, so today's episode, body image and societal influences. Boy, this is a messy, sticky kind of episode, so I apologize. This is going to be like one of those hashtag real talk episodes. So hopefully you've got that kind of demeanor about you where you've got a thick skin and things don't like bother you as much. Because if that's you, just take this as you would when you have a sit down conversation with a friend or close, family member or whatever, to where you take their thoughts and suggestions, advice. You take it obviously with a grain of salt, and you consider it seriously along your journey as you continue in your concentrated weight loss efforts. Because as I've said many times in previous episodes, this process of the intermittent fasting and everything that comes with it is something that can be messy. It makes you come to head with things that you have avoided in the past, and it can be traumatic, it can be painful, it can be hard, but truly, I would rather go through all that again and do a hard over again than to deal with the physicality that comes with just living and existing and putting up with everything that has held you back for so long. So one of the things I want to start with first off is kind of posing a question to you all. So in regards to body image, how and what do you see and feel, you listener, you listening to me, talking to you, beautiful soul and body that's listening to me right now, what do you see and what do you feel when you look in the mirror, and why do you think that is? So brief little pause, and in this pause, I would highly suggest take a good deep breath. So if you were like me when I first started, I knew, and again, my thought process goes right back to my day one, which was August 9th, 2018, waking up, looking in the mirror, just seeing and feeling. The one word that came to mind was, ugh. I felt disappointed. I felt disgusted. I felt sad. I felt discouraged. I felt depressed. I say all that and I can feel the tears bubbling up. Don't worry, I got a tissue handy. That inner dialogue starts to roll. But when we think about where did that inner dialogue come from? How did it originate? How did it take a hold and a place in our mind, in our thoughts, and establish a presence where we allow it to repeat over and over anytime we're faced with an uncomfortable truth about ourselves, where we see, yeah, this is who I am. We hear, at least for me in my discovery and process through my journey in my online education through Arizona State University online, it helped me to realize this dialogue that had been playing on repeat, those playlists or CDs that we just let play over and over again. This dialogue inside my head, and I apologize if my parents are listening and family members that are close by are listening. I'm not the same person now as I was back then, as a little caveat, so don't take this to heart. That dialogue, I can feel the tears coming now, guys, sorry. That dialogue that had been there for so long, for so many years, pretty much since childhood, adolescence, was there because of historical beliefs and verbiage, words that I was told and took as my truth when I was younger. And that is some of the hardest, messiest, uncomfortable stuff to come to head with when we want to pull those verbal weeds out of our brain. Where did that come from? Who did we first hear these words from? Hearing things, for me personally, that, sorry guys, hearing things like, you'll always be big, Vicky. Being obese, being big, just happens to be in the family, just is a common trait. You're probably going to be stuck this weight for the rest of your life. You'll always be the big girl. Man, that stuff, between the assignment and labeling that we receive and take and own from the ones that we hold to very high regard, the ones that we love and respect so highly, yet we allow that talk and judgment, labeling, limitations from the people that we love so much. We hold that to our highest regard, our highest truth, and that's it. But it sets up, like I said before, that automatic play on loop over and over and over in our brain. But why? Why? Again, it's because we love these people that tell us this, and we think that that's it. We're is as it is. When we're told this, sorry guys, when we're told this at a very young age, whether in childhood, adolescence, teenage, young adult, even as adults, this can still cause some real big sensitivities. That limitation can make you feel incredibly inadequate, low self-esteem, low value, low worth. But it's something that they may not directly and intentionally mean to share or tell you. They may have the best intentions, but it comes out wrong. But our innate response and reaction to when we hear these words and verbiage, immediately we think something's wrong with us. Oh, I'm telling you guys, there is nothing wrong with you guys. There is nothing. A lot of times these expressions of concern, words, maybe a family member is trying to express that they care about your maybe declining health or state of mental health or whatever. It comes out wrong. It comes out broken. And it's like that game of telephone when we were in elementary school. Operator, like there's nobody there to say, hey, this is getting jumbled up in interpretation. This is getting busted and broken. Like this is not being properly interpreted the way that it's meant to be. And being told as I was that I was always the alien, Vicky, you're the weird one. You're the odd one out. It was just an excuse for me as I interpret it again. And I interpret it as that's my, go, collect $200, get out of jail for free card to behave and be the weird one, to be overweight. Yep, it's always going to be this way. So any inconvenience in life, any slight, any stressor, any hard or difficult, challenging time that came through in my childhood, like when my mom passed away when I was 16 years old. I'm sorry, guys. I tried to keep it together. Keep it together, Vicky. When my mom passed away when I was 16, that was one of the, probably at that point in my life was the hardest thing. Because growing up, I adored my mom. She was like my best friend. I loved spending time with her and hanging out with her. So to lose her so quickly, taking that personally, thinking that I was by myself, nobody else, I was back to being the weird one, and not feeling like I had a safe place or safe space to vent, to share. We all need that. Side note, if you don't have anybody in your life where you can safely, confidently vent to, share to, talk about random shit, laugh to, get support from, then it's time to reevaluate that circle. And like, side note, if you listening are like, hey, Vicky, can I just like spill something to you? I truly care. If you're listening to this, whether here on Facebook Live or in my podcast as well, obviously if you're listening, I care very much about you. I want you to grow and thrive and make the most of this life that you can. And you can do that. Send me a message if you need a vent about something. I'm here. I will listen. Because I've been there. I know what it's like to be on that dark, sticky, messy, deep, dark side. All this unintentional negative influence that is always present around us. It's always there. Do we have to pay attention and give into it? No. The assignments and values that we're told from others around us does not have to exist and live in that spinning verbiage hamster wheel of what we allow to just continue and play out in our heads. It doesn't have to. You can, over time, this is not an immediate like ripping a Band-Aid off. All is better with like, take a deep breath, Vicky, and that's it. Oh yeah, this is bullshit. It's going to work. I know it doesn't work like that. I know it's a deliberate process of identifying the triggers and the verbiage that has not served you previously, and maybe really pulling back all those years of, like, for me, it was, I had to write everything down. I'm a writer, like not a writer, at least yet. Books still coming in the works, as a side note. My process has always been, I will take or find a piece of paper or a notebook or something and just write out my thoughts. I will write my thoughts out, and just like that was my source of venting, because I felt, again, that I had nobody to talk to. Once my mom passed away and I felt that further sense of disconnect, I felt like I had nobody to talk to. So food was like the friend that never talked back, that always just like gave me that euphoric drug high feeling, but it was not a reciprocal kind of healthy relationship, obviously, because it got me to almost 400 pounds. And that was the only way that I knew to deal with the stressors and verbiage that I took as my truth from these influences from people around me. So to kind of step back outward a little bit further, these thoughts, feelings, beliefs, as I've said many times before and made little like cute quippy videos, but I'm going to repeat it now because it's so friggin' true, y'all. These thoughts, feelings, beliefs, opinions of others, wherever, however they learned them, from others, are not our own responsibility to own and take as our truth. What we think, feel about ourselves should always come first and foremost. Obviously, we take it very seriously to heart, how others think and feel about us, but it should not be the main end all be all. And we, again, to kind of take a, aerial view, if imagining, like, in my mind, I'm seeing myself as like a drone to like, whoop, okay, let's go further and further away, up and out and away from these thoughts and feelings. So there have been many situations and circumstances where in this moment, as hyper-focused and hard, stressful, traumatic as they can be, and man, have I been in some messy, dark, stressful, threatening, potentially, thankfully I escaped it, potentially violent situations. In that moment, I was able to, and this was after I reached my weight loss maintenance, was able to see myself, the person that was speaking to me, and seeing it from like an aerial drone kind of view, and really identify, okay, this is not about me. It's being thrown and hurled verbally, aggressively, angrily at me, but it's not about me, and I shouldn't take this personally. Again, this is something that is not going to be an immediate reaction, an immediate response for someone just starting out. With the implementation of this fasting lifestyle, this is something that once you reach the point of fat adaptation, allowing yourself to really call and identify these thoughts, feelings, and beliefs from others as theirs is going to be so much easier once you can kind of, again, I'm imagining myself, and I'm going to recommend you do the same. Imagine in your mind, You are seeing yourself in the situation, whoop, and you just raise up like the way that drones do. And you see it from up, out, and away from this focused, stressful, emotionally triggering, traumatic situation that you're in that moment, whenever that moment is. See it from the bigger picture away, and you'll be able to pretty easily see, wow, there's a lot of maybe animosity, maybe hormonal, whatever. It's most likely or a hormonal response, a stressor, a thought, feeling, belief from somebody else being thrown, hurled at you, or one that continues to play out in your mind, like we established before, that we take and own and see as our truth, and that is set to establish our value, our sense of self, and the way that we think we're stuck and will always and forever be. Thinking about why that is to begin with kind of makes you look out again to the bigger picture, out as a global society. So these global, and even to like not go as global because it does vary throughout the entire world, but let's think like in a United States kind of respect. These societal bodily ideals and how we're told to think, feel, and believe what is the perfect body. We play with Barbie dolls, we play with G.I. Joes, and, my late husband always loved playing with the He-Man. We would always talk about like playing with the He-Man characters and why we have these assignments that these are the only ways that we see true beauty or perfection, or, we idolize people that we see in the news, social media, and letting, maybe not intentionally, unintentionally thinking, I know, because I've been there, that seeing these, viral social media influencers or people on the news, movies, whatever, and we feel and think when we see, again, we're triggered because these major corporations, companies, and agencies and all that, they know the psychology of their consumers. They know how to tap at our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs to get us to think, feel, and behave a certain way. So by portraying, for advertisements, and I remember I wrote a very thorough research paper on this for school, knowing what these triggers are for us as a society, as a species, as a collective, human existence. They know the psychology of this, playing and tapping and kind of like poking at that in order to persuade, to get us to think, feel, and behave a certain way. It's all from up and out of our control. And what I've always told my kids too, and this was something that, again, this is throughout the fasting journey that I was able to discover all this. I like to tell people, and again, this started with my kids, where I imagine myself, every person has this, what I like to call a hula hoop of control around you. So this imaginary little space around you. So imagine you're always walking around with this hula hoop of control. Okay. So you have this hula hoop, everything. We know how like the general size of a hula hoop. So it's not like right up alongside your body, but it's not like miles wide. It's like within your reach, right? It's within your reach, like arm's length. So this hula hoop of control, everything inside the hula hoop, your movements, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, all that stuff is our responsibility. And we got to remember that. Everything outside the hula hoop of control, we should not be taking seriously. We should not be taking personally. We should not let directly influence us unless it's positive and productive and supportive, loving, respectful, insert adjective there. The more we allow for those breaks in our hula hoop of control, the weaker and more susceptible to destructive behavior, it can happen to us. That can just like break. It's like we have to keep our hula hoop of control strong. We have to keep it impenetrable, but flexible, because we want to receive that love, support, kindness, respect, all that good stuff from others. Of course we want that. But again, even like we don't want it to like a superficial kind of like, ooh, you're just like kissing my ass sort of thing. Like, of course that's not realistic and that's not long-term sustainable. But at the same time, if you're giving love and respect to other people and support and as I, for example, I give that to all to you guys, you'd want that back. So that's like that permeability of the hula hoop of control. But my point is, things outside of your reach, on a maybe community, state, further, insert, further out. The further out you go, honestly, that gets to where you shouldn't let it stress you out as much. And I know there are people, because I love everything about who my late husband was, but there were many times, and we would have lots of conversations about I would see the way that he would get so stressed and so affected by societal happenings and things that were, as I said, out of his hula hoop of control. And this is where I relate it to my kids in saying that, like, when things and situations, circumstances happen at school and maybe to like different things or environments that they're in, remembering that, like I mentioned before, when circumstances happen to you or around you that don't work out in your favor, that maybe you were expecting in your mind, oh, it's going to go a certain way. Oh, I'm excited that's going to be this way. It's going to be exactly this way. And then it doesn't happen. That's when we can tailspin and spiral way the hell out of control. And again, as I know personally from experience, that can cause a deep, dark, dirty binge and sabotaging, destructive behavior. It's messy, it's dark, you don't want to go there. What you can remember is that although you are being triggered and stressed and exposed to maybe something that may be challenging your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in that moment, it is just that, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs from others. Do not own it. Do not let it take space, real estate in your mind, thoughts, beliefs of your own. Find a way to either remove the stressor if you can. See if you can't say or do something in that moment with respect, kindness, empathy, support, and love to change the outcome. Even if you put effort in to try to change the outcome and it doesn't work in your favor, not taking things personally, realizing, okay, well, at least I tried. This is where, peace out, deuces, bye, Felicia. Like, pull one of those and be like, all right, I'm going to remove myself from that trigger. And by doing that, you are doing this direct and deliberate action of self-preservation that not only is going to save your emotional and total well-being, but it's also going to reinforce your strength, your grit, your tenacity, your inner willpower to remove yourself anytime a stressful situation like that happens again. You can be like, oh, yeah, this happened to me before, or something similar happened to me before. Again, making an attempt, if you can, to kind of rectify, remove yourself, or change the outcome if you can. And then if you can't, being okay with walking away. And this can be related to really anything, whether it's, a stressful situation, a work environment, a relationship you're in, whatever. Identifying, calling out, making the uncomfortable come to the head and just be like, I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. Either, find ways to come together and fix and rectify, or be at peace with walking away. And yet again, I'm going to repeat, it's not going to be something that will be easy. It's going to be hard, uncomfortable, probably painful. And if you're like me, you're probably going to cry as well. But these, again, thoughts, feelings, beliefs that we allow to take hold regarding our self-worth, our image that we have for our body, the limitations put forth very commonly by other people, they don't got to live there. You need to have that love, empathy, compassion for this beautiful body, regardless of where you are in your journey, and to understand that you can make this life a beautiful experience. And I've said it so many times and I never get sick of it, but time is going to pass whether we take action or not. And I truly feel that these bodies that our souls reside in should be very, very attended to and taken care of. But it's not just in a feeding, kind of personal care sort of thing. The thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are very important to us, as pretty much almost as important, if not, right up there with the food and fuel that we put in our bodies. And I've said this before too, but what we allow will continue. So if you continue to allow to be berated, talked down to, disrespected by the people that you are, you exist with, if you put up with that, think about it. You're only allowing that negativity to further solidify a home in your body. And even though it solidifies up here, it can manifest with the cortisol stress response. We can be constantly living, I'm sorry guys, we can be constantly, because I was constantly living in a fight or flight kind of response. And that constant state of thinking everything's about them, super stressed about it all, that can cause you to hold your weight. That can cause you to be super reactive, to binge at a breath of a notice. And that's hard to pull yourself out of, especially by yourself. Comparing and thinking that, comparing and thinking and feeling of that victim mentality because of the situations, because of the circumstances, because of the beliefs, thoughts, feelings that we get from others, grows into what I feel, and I said this before too in previous videos and podcasts, I feel it's kind of like the weeds, right? It's this emotional, thick thoughts, feelings, beliefs, like hormonal weeds. If we allow even a little weed to peek through, call it out. Hey, there's a weed right there. Pull it out. The more we allow that weed, oh, I see you, weed. I'm not going to do anything about you. I see you over there saying, you're not worthy. You'll always be the big girl. You'll always be the big girl. Yep. Oh, size 22, 24. Oh, you're going to grow a little bit? Okay, let's make it 26, 28. Yep. Oh, I know there's other family members who are that size. Yep. That little weed is like, Vicky, you'll always be 26, 28. You'll always be really big. Oh, you're approaching 400 pounds. Guess that's your truth. You're always going to be stuck here. Man, get that weed eater. Get the spray. Get some tools if it goes deep. Pull with all your might, because I'm telling, I can feel the tears again, guys. Sorry. If you want any sorry, guys. Let me take a breath. If you want any semblance of an enjoyable, long-lasting, fulfilling life experience in this body, an experience that we've got, call those freaking weeds out. Pull them out. If you need help, hey, Vicky, how do I pull this weed out? Hey, friend, family member, if they don't want to or don't care to help you fix and chip away or repair this broken kind of foundation, you got to figure out a way to do it. If you want to live, you got to figure out a way to do it. And I'm telling you, you can. It's going to be hard. It's going to be messy. It's probably going to be really a deep, freaking hard route. But you can do it. You absolutely can do it. Even if it's chipping away a little bit at a time. Fixing that mindset, again, takes time. It takes compassion. It takes personal empathy, self-love, respect, seeing yourself not as broken, because you are not broken. If you're listening to this right now, and if anybody has ever told you that you are stuck, that you'll always be this way, I am holding my microphone right now, and I'm telling you, You are not broken. You are not stuck. You can pull yourself out from whatever deep, dark trenches that life has hurled, dumped, exploded in your path. You can come out of this. Come out of this. I'm telling you, you can. So before I go like full explosion and full like sob mess, because that was already earlier today when I had a widow moment, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to tell you again, I truly love and am super passionate about being there for you guys and showing you that you can come on the other side of this. As hard and difficult and challenging and as, that light at the end of the tunnel may just be like a tiny little fleck, like a star in the sky. But the more you are complacent and okay with, the more you're okay and complacent with staying where you are, the longer and harder it's going to be to even make strides in that direction. A little bit of action each day. You'll get there. You absolutely will get there. So before I go full sob here, I want to give you guys all, as usual, a nice big virtual hug. Again, as always, I truly, truly believe in you. Even if you don't, even if you're sitting there thinking, man, I know she's just going on. She doesn't know my situation. She doesn't know my circumstance. I'm telling you, you can. No matter the situation and circumstance, you can come back from the darkest, deepest, hardest times in your life. You can pull yourself out of it. And as much as we think that weight is just once I fix my weight, everything will be, there's more deeper things underneath there. You got to really identify and call out what those factors are. So if you need help further identifying all that stuff, if you need somebody to vent to have in your corner as a resource, as a guidepost, maybe, again, like I've said before in previous posts and stuff, I will hand you the machete. I will hand you the light to see in these dark tunnels. The machete to chop through all these really hard weeds that maybe have grown into trees at this point. And then I will also hand you my hand because I know we can't do it alone. And this is where I let you know that, remind you, if you're listening, I do offer coaching and supportive weight loss, motivation, inspiration, support. That's what I'm going to school for, to become certified and licensed in this, because I very passionately care about this all. I want folks to succeed. I want folks to know that you can make this a beautiful and, prosperous life for yourself, and that you don't have to be stuck where you are. So the website is thefastingfocusedlifestyle.com. I'd love to connect with you if you're needing help pulling yourself out of this dark, sticky, tough situation that, like I said, I've been in. It's hard, it's messy, it's tough, but you don't got to do it alone. Thefastingfocusedlifestyle.com. And again, I said it before, but I'm going to say it again because we're at the end here. I truly, truly, y'all, believe in you, even if you don't. And I'm going to give you one more big podcast, Facebook Live virtual hug right now. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye, guys. The Fasting Focused Lifestyle, copyright 2021 by Vicki Sharon. The information given within this podcast is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult your doctor before starting any weight loss method. Thank you.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can. In the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.